Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 7th of July. The first important news, that is the provision of the High Sea Treaty. This is from the text and context page of the Hindu. Second, that is understanding the dark pattern. This is again the text and context page. These two are the important article reported in today's The Hindu text and context page and directly relevant for both prelims and mains examination of the civil services. Now, the third is that is center pushes for reform to spur the foreign direct investment. Fourth, that is MOU with Tanzania to set up IIT Madras campus. And the last is an editorial. India needs a uniform civil code. There's a debate that is ongoing, and this is something which has reiterated the position in the part of the uniform civil code. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do hit that like button. Starting the session with the first news, that is the provision of the High Sea Treaty. Very important both for prelims and mains examination, specifically for aspirant who are appearing for this year mains, that is for 2023. You can expect a question on mains. Now, important for general studies paper 2, that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. So what is all part of the important aspect that you need to know when it comes to the High Sea Treaty? Recently, the United Nations has adopted a treaty, or you can say a jurisdiction, which is named as Marine Biodiversity of High Areas Beyond National Jurisdiction, which is also known as BBNJ, or the High Seas Treaty. Very important for the examination. And just to tell you, this is a part which was adopted by the United Nations, and it has become the third agreement to be approved under the UNCLOS after 1994 and 1995 treaties, which has established International Seabed Authority and Fish Stock Agreement. So you can understand the gravity of this news, how relevant this is going to be both for the prelims and mains examination. So I'll make you understand what are the important points from the examination point of view. Now, give you the background, starting with the background part. The idea for protecting the marine and the part of the environment emerged in 2002. So this is when the actual conceptualization for the part of marine environment was taken into consideration. In 2008, there was a need that implementation of this agreement should be there, and it was recognized that yes, UNGA has come up with the resolutions in 2015 with a preparatory committee to create a treaty which specifically called for the marine environment. So आप इसे track कर सकते हैं from 2002 onwards when it was actually incepted, and 2008 when the implementation process just started. The committee has recommended holding the intergovernmental conference after a 5 prolonged ICG, that is intergovernmental negotiation, and treaty was adopted in 2023. So the actual process, you can see it took more than 21 years to complete the part of entire process once it was actually conceptualized. So it has a long journey, and definitely this is the reason I'm stating that this is important for the mains examination. Now, what is the aim of this treaty? The part of the treaty aims to implement the international regulations to protect the oceans beyond the national jurisdictions through international cooperations, right? और कौन से ऐसे key areas है, critical issues है जो address किए जाएंगे? That is increasing the sea surface temperature. We have to see and monitor it. Over exploitations of the marine biodiversity, overfishing, coastal pollutions, unsustainable practice beyond the national jurisdictions. Now, if you look at the part of the high seas, what actually is the high seas? So they are made up of nearly 2/3 of the world ocean, right? And 95% by volume. They represent 95% of the Earth occupied habitat, but less than 1% of the high seas are protected. So even you can use this in mains examination. Once you're writing in mains, you can draw this diagram also. Now, other important provision that is a part of the High Sea Treaty, but it's called for the establishment of marine protected areas, जहाँ पे जो protected oceans है from human activities और 3/4 measure vote is there to prevent the decision and from getting blocked by any one two parties, right? Now, one of the sharing benefit is that both the part of the marine genetic resources and the treaty mandate कि जो sharing informations होंगी will be taken into consideration, and scientific information and monetary benefit through the installation of clear house mechanism. So there's not something that immediately will proceed. There's a due process that this has to be followed. This mechanism called for information on marine protected areas, चाहे marine के genetics resources हो, उनके area based management tool के बारे में बात हो. This will be made open access to all parties. Now this aims to bring transparency and boost cooperations. And the last pillar of the treaty is the capacity building and the marine technology. Now, why did it take so long to sign this agreement? As I've told you, this started in 2002 and finally 2001 actually, right? 2002. This is 2002 and it completed in 2023. So how and why it took so long to proceed? The negotiation on the subject was prolonged due to the absence of provisions to monitor the information sharing. And the intergovernmental conference अगर 2 की बात करें, this called for the smallest island state supporting the part of idea for license scheme for monitoring, and were opposed to part of the like Russia stating the notification system that would hinder the part of bioprospecting research. So a lot of countries like China, Russia, they are opposing this part, but definitely when this is processed, all member country will appreciate the effort that yes, sustainability and marine ecosystem preservation is an important aspect. Now, who opposed the treaty? As I've told you, the country like China and Russia. So many developed countries have opposed this part of the agreement, and even they said that the forefront of the advanced research and development in the marine technology will be something that will be compromising on the part of the private companies. China and Russia, these are the two entities. They are not in the favor of the treaty, High Sea Treaty, because Russia withdrew most of its last stores of the reaching to the consensus where intergovernmental 5 meeting that was there arguing that the treaty does not have a balance of conservation and sustainability. See, those countries who are opposing will definitely have their own pros and cons, but to a larger extent we have to see for the benefit and sustainability of the environment, and even that these treaty are helping maximum number of members or not. This is how the treaty actually works. Now, moving to the other news, that is understanding the dark pattern, something important for general studies paper 2, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from it, design and implementations. So recently the Department of Consumer Affairs and the Advertisement Standard Council of India has recently come up with a joint consultation with the stakeholder on the part of the dark pattern. I previously have also made a video when it comes to the part of dark pattern. I had made a discussion to this. If you have not watched that video, you can check it out. Either I'll be making a discussion, making you clear how the dark pattern actually works. So ASIC come up with a guideline, and with the central government also working towards the normal part of the dark pattern. So the Advertisement Standing Council of India, it's important office. You should read about us from their official page, because about us page for any government website become important for the examination. Now, what is dark pattern? By definition, it is clear that the pattern refers to interference design choice or technique which is intentionally used to manipulate the part of the device, often landing them to take a decision which is in hurry, which is without any conscious decision, and making that decision which might not have taken otherwise, right? तो एक कहीं ना कहीं आपको manipulate करके उस decision के लिए provoke की जाती है, and ultimately you are landing to a decision. These patterns exploit the part of cognitive bias and the psychological tenderness that trick the part of the coercion users, and even that is performing actions to benefit the business of an organization, and the main aim is to make the profit and even sell a product. So this is how the things actually work. And according to the Harry Brinkman, he has said that he has actually introduced a part of dark pattern in 2010, which characterized the part of deceptive strategy that was used as a trick clients, and they make some gimmick activities so that ultimately product is sell. Now, different types of patterns की अगर बात करें, business entities are using different pattern when it comes to the part of deceptive patterns and the things that are working with the black marketing and the part. So the common practices which is there is creating a sense of urgency, जहाँ पे आपको कोई stocks के end होने की बात, even last mile hour is left. This is how they actually attract you and make the things more chaosful, right? Hidden cost, which is there with the bill. Once you add product, there's some hidden charges, convenience charges, delivery charges. These all things are added. Just to give you an hypothetical example with the part of the consumer durable or the things that you are making through e-commerce websites. Now, forced attentions are there with signing of a services to the content extras. Advertisement, one product or services but delivering another product. This is again a problem which we have seen in the lot made जितने भी कॉमर्स वेबसाइट हैं, either it is Flipkart, Amazon and other part that is also operating in India, we have been reporting this false cases. Disguised advertisement on particular product, that was a way for depicting the part of the news and many more. So the main intention behind this is to make profit and even keep customer in suspicious when it comes to the part of the online placing orders. Now, dark pattern की अगर बात करें, what is the legal status in India and specifically for the part of the global world? So first, we'll see the part of the global world. Many believe that the dark pattern is a business strategy and the legality of the pattern is complex, making it is a distinguish between the manipulative and fraudulent intent and challenge. As of now, there's no specific regulations when it comes to the part of negotiation of the dark pattern. And even individuals who have experienced the harm as a part of the dark pattern may have potentially seek compensation for the damages, right? Even in EU, you have seen that the Meta, which exactly is not with this case, but they have been charged with some of the part and the fines. The Google and Facebook have been seeing repercussions when it comes to the part of the cookies banner that is there. Now, global practices की अगर बात करें, कौन कौन से ऐसे countries हैं जिन्होंने already इस तरह के regulations की हुई हैं. So this guideline comes from the European Data Protection Board, which have released and the part of the signing social media platform practicing a guideline to avoid the dark pattern in social media interference and violations for the general data protection regulation laws. India की क्या stand है dark pattern पे? If you are writing in mains per se, you need to make things clear and what is the India stand, you need to write it in the mains. तो आप मेंस में लिख सकते हैं that the Department of Consumer Affairs and the ASICI have identified the issues and taken this problem and even addressed this to ensure that things are working out feasibly in India. The companies that are being asked to resist have such tactics in the e-commerce market space. Now, many Indian market space companies have come up with a letter with the Department of Consumer Affairs and warning them that engaging in any kind of unfair practices or implementation of the dark pattern will definitely lead to the part of the violations of the consumer right, which is stated under Sections 2(9) of the Consumer Protection Act. तो मिनिस्ट्री ने कैटेगोरिकली सारी ऑनलाइन कंपनीज को ये cautions दी हुई हैं. They have already sent a warning. If it is there, the part of the actions will be taken under the Consumer Protection Act 2019. Now moving to the other news, MOU with Tanzania to set IIT Madras campus, something important for General Studies Paper 2, that is issues related to development and management of education and human resources. तो एक significant move में basically IIT Madras की global campus start होगी and this will be there in Tanzania. So an MOU was signed, एक MOU sign की गई है between India and Tanzania to set up the campus and this will be the first IIT branch abroad campus. The campus is expected to open in October 2023 जहाँ पे 50 undergraduate student और 20 master के student के साथ first batch को commence की जाएगी. Now the program, IIT Madras is expected to launch 4 undergraduate and 5 postgraduate program in Zanzibar campus. And IIT Madras will have a last word on the academic program, curriculum किस तरह से set करनी है, and even for the part of operating expenditure, everything will be done between the part of the government, Tanzania and Zanzibar. Now vision क्या है इस तरह की campus के setup करने की? The IIT campus and Zanzibar is envisaged at the world-class educational research institution, which broaden the part of developing the competencies और India के जो students हैं उनको एक emerging global market पे basically they need to pace it out. डीपन द टाइज बिटवीन बोथ कंट्रीज और रिसर्च और इनोवेशंस को आगे बढ़ाने की कोशिश की जाएगी. The move in this line with the national education policy जो कि 2020 में गवर्नमेंट ने emphasize की. There are lot of other part that is developed as per the vision of the national education policies और हाई परफॉर्मेंस इंडियन यूनिवर्सिटीज इंकरेज होंगी अपने कैंपसेस को फॉरेन यूनिवर्सिटी को सेटअप करने में. दिस वाज अ प्रोविजन अंडर द नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसीज. Now, a brief about the Zanzibar, because this is there in news, तो आपको कुछ basics जानने की ज़रूरत है. It's an archipelago, which is the off coast of East Africa, with the part which was formed by the Republic of Tanzania. It's a semi-autonomous region in Tanzania. You can see these are the region, right? और यहाँ पे आप Indian Ocean, Tanzania is there, and the Zanzibar Channel, which is there. So, from examination point of view, map work के point of view से भी चीज़ें आपके लिए ज़रूरी. Now, moving to the other news, that is Center pushes for reform to spur the FDI, something important for General Studies Paper 3, that is Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource, growth and development. The Ministry of Finance has made a strong pitch for measures to facilitate the foreign direct investment that dipped last year and may remain substituted in the part of the coming months, right? And it motivates the great attention for the policymakers to resolve and change faced by the global investors, including the last mile infrastructure and the difficulties that is set for the large scale factories. Now, कौन से ऐसे रीजंस थे जिन वजह से एफडीआई में डिप देखी गई इंडिया में, स्पेसिफिकली फॉर द फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2022 एंड 23. सो दिस वाज मेनली ड्यू टू द इन्फ्लेशनरी प्रेशर, जो इन्फ्लेशन हाई थी उस वजह से, एंड इवन द tight monetary policy, not only for India. If you see the US Fed, they have also made their part very strong, and the rules were very strict, which has definitely impacted the part for the global acclaim. Now, बात करें और कौन से ऐसे reasons थे that have impacted the part for the dip in FDI. First is the escalations of the geopolitical stress, that is mostly because of the Russia and Ukraine crisis, right? The other is enhancing the volatility in the global financial system. Sharp price correction in the global stock market, उसके अलावा high magnitude of El Nino impact, जो कि इस बार पिछले the last 7 years we have not witnessed. तो 7 सालों के बाद El Nino की impact इंडिया में भी दिखेगी. Whether we don't know whether it will be so severe or mild, but again we have to wait for that. Modest trade activities, and even the gross FDI that slipped 16 years for the record high of 84.5 billion, 4 billion. Which is a net inflow sharper as 27.4. So these were some of the important reasons which have made the dip in the FDI. Now, rising inclusivity is another point that ministry has highlighted, and they said that job creation is something that is important. So job creations पे खासा ध्यान देने की बात की गई है, which create an important role and create demand in the economy going forward. Employment level are expected to remain buoyant, mainly because of the digitalization process that is working, even the part of technological advancement, expanding implementations of the PLI, that is production link incentive scheme, which was there post COVID. अगर बात करें post COVID, government of India has come up with a recovery plan जहाँ पे PLI schemes लाई गई, and thereby creating employment and avenues for semi-skilled and skilled workers. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, India need a uniform civil code, something important for General Studies Paper 2, that is functions and responsibility of union and states and issues and challenges pertaining to the federal structure of this country. So what I'll be discussing in this editorial, first talking about the theme. The theme is about the uniform civil code. We'll see the discussion that was made in the Constituent Assembly, that is an important component. After that, we have the constitutional provision and court के क्या observation है, specifically Supreme Court के क्या essence होगी uniform civil code की, and the way forward. Now, the latest law commission have notified and reviewed the part of the debate around the uniform civil code. They have reiterated their part and said that the uniform civil code should be there in India. And even for several occasions, Prime Minister has also reiterated the same, that there should be the uniform civil code in India. See, to this news, and specifically about the uniform civil code, when it comes to UCC, it has some political dimension also. But you as an aspirant of civil services examination, and when we are making a discussion with regards to exam, we don't need to consider the political angle. तो political angle के बारे में आपको थोड़ा सा मैं बता दूँ. The election is due in 2024. The reason being the political parties are coming with a agenda which can fetch more votes or no, again a political agenda is there, so we cannot comment on that. बट यू एज एन एस्पिरेंट आपको बस ये ध्यान रखना है कि यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड के एग्जामिनेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से क्या न्यूट्रल अप्रोच होनी चाहिए, वेदर इट इज बेनिफिशियल फॉर इंडिया और नॉट. सो विल ट्राई एंड मेक थिंग्स वर्केबल फॉर यू. दिस आर्टिकल इज रिटन बाय फॉर्मर वाइस प्रेसिडेंट, तो उसी कंटेक्स्ट में देखने की कोशिश करेंगे. यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड इज डिफाइंड एज इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अंडर आर्टिकल 44, जहाँ पे डीपीएसपी के अंदर इसे रखी गई है, डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल फॉर स्टेट पॉलिसीज, एंड इट स्टेट्स दैट इट इज अ ड्यूटी फॉर स्टेट टू सिक्योर the uniform civil code through the territory of the country. This is not a denying fact that yes, it is a part of the DPSP. Now, India being the diverse nations and home to the multiple religions, a distinct personal law governing marriage, divorce, adoption, inheritance and succession should be something that should be taken into consideration in one laws. Now, the Constitution Assemblies की अगर बात करें, जो Constituent Assembly बनी थी, वहाँ पे डिबेट हुई थी. The debate was on regard to the UCC, going back to the Constituent Assembly debate, and one could state that the legality of UCC is rooted in the Constitution of India, and even debate was there in the Supreme Court, और Supreme Court ने अपने several judgment में इस बात को highlight की है. The Constituent Assembly has shed light on the need for objective behind promoting the Uniform Civil Code. And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the chief architect of Indian Constitution and the framer of the Indian Constitution, has said that there should be a UCC. He actually pitched for the part of UCC. And he stressed that the need for UCC ensure the gender equality, eradicating the part of prevention and social evil. Constitutional provisions की अगर बात करें, when it comes to the part what is the constitutional provision apart from Article 44, कोर्ट की क्या ऑब्जर्वेशंस थी. एज आई हैव टोल्ड यू विद द बिगनिंग कि आर्टिकल 44 के डीपीएसपी में ये चीज़ें मेंशन की गई हैं, एंड इन अ सेंस द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मैंडेट दैट विच रिक्वायर स्टेट टू इनैक्ट that all citizens should have faith practice in the personal laws, and it is pertinent that the Supreme Court has also dwelt in the issue. कोर्ट ने एक्चुअली साराबानो के केस में भी कहा था that this is a matter of regret that Article 44 has remained a dead letter. This is what the Supreme Court has said, right? The Supreme Court has said. The court has also pointed out the Uniform Civil Code has a part and cause for the national intrications. Now, essence की अगर बात करें, in the part of essence, the UCC, the Uniform Civil Code is a step in the right directions, जो कि काफ़ी टाइम से overdue है, since the debate continued in the Constituent Assembly. So you can see it's continued for past 75 years almost. And the understood part is to attempt a careful legal framework की बात की गई है, जो कि एक important aspect होगी सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजमेंट को ध्यान में रखते हुए. The doubt there in the mind is to oppose the initiatives and even stemming the part for unfound apprehensions which address the enlightened debate and the constructive engagement. The overreaching objective is to ensure that there is no gender discriminations, enjoying the fundamental right that is enshrined in the constitution of this country. Now, when it conclude the part of this article, आप लिख सकते हैं that India is a diverse society, and for unified legal framework, it is important to foster the social cohesion, और जो fabric of democracy है उसे बनाए रखने की जरूरत है, और national integration should be the utmost priority. The Constituent Assembly have recognized the existing challenges, stressed the need for UCC, and bridged the gap to promote the sense of unity and diverse among the communities. The UCC said that eliminations discriminatory practices deprive of women and right to provide them with equal opportunity and protection should be taken into considerations. So this is how you can proceed with the way forward. Now moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday's questions. For first question, the correct option is C. For second question, the correct option is B. Today's MCQ for practice about the OceanSat satellite. It's a series of rare earth observatory built and launched operated by Indian Space Research Organization. OceanSat is facilitating the part of applications including the documenting chlorophyll concentration phytoflaxin bloom. So check out for the correct option. Second is about the ILO. ILO के बारे में आपको बताना है which among the following is the correct option. So do check out for the correct option. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any queries about admissions courses, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.